'Twas the first night of Switchmas, and a leaker gave to me a new factory leak for me and my friends to see. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. This is the week. This is the week that everyone has pointed to as the Switch 2 September reveal week. It is before The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom comes out. It's right around when Nintendo typically hosts their September Direct. It's before Tokyo Game Show, and it feels like maybe it's finally time. And as it's almost finally time, how fitting that we wake up on this fine Monday morning and get a factory leak about the Switch 2 and what exactly this system looks like. We're going to cover it all today and more. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you're ready for the Switch 2 to be revealed. Everybody should have hit it. Everybody. Goodness gracious. We are all so ready for this to be revealed. I don't know if we were so ready for more bundles, but we've got them. North America gets 2 more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundles. Say it with me. Woo! Who doesn't have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I guess the strategy here is, hey, if you want to buy a Switch this holiday, the best thing we can give you is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I guess we'll give it to you, because otherwise I don't get this. New Zealand and Australia get that cool Mario Wonder bundle. And here in the States, Nintendo announced this morning that there is a new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe OLED bundle with a white OLED console and a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe OG Switch bundle with a neon Joy-Con Switch. They both do come with 12 months of Switch Online, which is a pretty nifty deal. As neither of them are special edition consoles, this is only appealing, I guess, to brand new buyers or gift givers. And I can see how Mario Kart is appealing there, but I just don't get why we always get the Mario Kart bundle. Like every freaking year, it is the Mario Kart bundles that continue to come out. And I guess, hey, it works. It's the biggest selling game on the system. The system is the biggest selling system. Why stop if it ain't broken? But it's not broken. Don't worry. The Switch is fine. Maybe it's getting close to being broken, though, which would mean we're getting close to Switch 2, and these bundles don't impact a Switch 2 announcement in any way. If anything, getting them announced right now, today, this morning, is great for a Switch 2 reveal because it gets it out of the way and lets people know what they can pick up if they're looking to grab a Switch for a friend, family member, or just random who really needs to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, maybe some of you played in the Grand Festival Splatfest that took place this weekend, where the past, present, and future duked it out to determine how we would impact the future of the Splatoon plot. And the past one, the Squid Sisters, take the cake, and they, I think, will be heavily featured in Splatoon 4, as we've seen with the Grand Festival in the past, with Splat 1 and Splat 2 influencing the subsequent games. Nintendo is bringing a close to Splatoon 3. They also announced at the conclusion of the Grand Festival that regular updates are donezo. They're going to continue doing some minor updates, some minor balance changes, and they'll still have their themed seasonal events, but no new regular content. Basically, like sunsetting this game. I mean, you can still play it, of course, and there'll still be a hefty player base, I'm sure, for a while until Splat 4 comes. But this is sort of your sign that the cycle for Splatoon 3 is over, reaching its pinnacle, and now it'll kind of be downhill from here in terms of updates. And it makes me wonder, how early in the Switch 2 life cycle will Splatoon 4 launch? Splatoon 2 was a very early Switch 2 game. Maybe they want to do something similar. Getting multiplayer out there early is important, and Nintendo started off the Switch era with Splatoon and with Mario Kart, which was really great and a nice way to sort of boost their online subscriptions. And as carrying over the Nintendo accounts is important to them, continuing Switch Online success, maybe they will want to go multiplayer heavy early on in the Switch 2 life cycle. But we can speculate about that as much as we want as we wait for the Switch 2. Let's get down to the dirty details of this factory leak. Now, you know that we've been saying the big thing about Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo revealing it soon is like they want to get out ahead of the factory starting production and people leaking things from the factory. Now, we've heard that maybe production has actually ramped up, production has begun, and this could be our first big leak from a factory worker. And honestly, it's all super believable. Nobody's out here saying it has 4 screens. Nobody's out here saying it runs in 8K. Nobody's out here saying it's $650. This is a very believable leak, but again, it is a leak from a supposed factory worker, so grain of salt this one up and just take it as it is. We have to decide if it's real or not, and hopefully we'll find out from Nintendo themselves if it's real or not. But combined with the fact that everyone's pointing to this week, combined with the fact that it's rumored production has started up, this does make a lot of sense. It's coming at the perfect time, and either somebody is just really, really, really rude to tease us when we need it most, or this is all really happening, and it does make a ton of sense. Basically, what this Chinese forum poster said is that the Switch 2 production has started somewhere in China, 1,000 units per day. This is one worker, apparently. One worker is getting 1,000 units per day ready, which sounds like a heck of a lot of Switch 2 systems. It's larger than the Switch 1 and has a larger screen than the OLED with a smaller bezel, black and white Joy-Con, slightly larger logo with 2 on the side. There's also a note about the kickstand being in a U shape, although that's something that we have heard before, I believe years ago actually. So either this is lining up with what was stated long ago, or this person is just pulling from other rumors. But if we look at what they're saying, it's all super believable, right? Like, okay, it started production, boom, checks out. Slightly larger than the Switch 1, boom, checks out. A smaller bezel. I mean, they reduced the bezel with the OLED, so reducing it even further, like that makes good sense and makes for a more elite system that emphasizes the screen. Black and white Joy-Con, that's kind of interesting. They went with white Joy-Con with the OLED. They had neon Joy-Con or gray Joy-Con with the OG Switch. So this is a new twist, black and white, but I do think black and white is like traditionally classy. And if they are going with something a little bit more high-end, like silver is something I think Nintendo likes to choose, but silver can also look tacky, so black and white would make a lot of sense. And maybe the system, I don't know, would Nintendo like swap out sort of the neon theme for a black and white theme for Switch 2? I don't know. Color matters a lot to Nintendo. They've been a big fan of, purple GameCube and spice-colored GameCube and a neon N64, see-through N64s and neon Joy-Con and all sorts of pastel and other colors in between. Would Nintendo dare do the Wii U thing and kind of go back to black and white, because that was the color scheme before the Wii U? I think it's a dangerous color scheme. I don't think you should dip your toes into the Disaster Zone's waters, and the Wii U we know is Disaster Zone, but maybe this is Nintendo like, nope, we can make it work. Like, maybe it's also because the black and white theme didn't really work, so it's not as repeated. You know what I mean? Like Nintendo, if they go with colors again, it's kind of like we did colors. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of different Joy-Con for whatever the new magnetic Joy-Con are. There's also a mention about these Joy-Con that something of like, okay, the Joy-Con themselves have a void. Okay, instead of like the traditional Joy-Con, that has like the rail, it's like the Joy-Con has the void, and then the system itself has the rail. Like it slots into the Joy-Con, something of that sort with the magnets or whatever. That's a bit odd. That's harder to sort of piece together in my head of like, okay, it's just got a gap, or how does that work? But people are focusing on the larger logo with 2 on the side as an indicator that this is just called the Switch 2. Now, this is a point of contention for some people because a lot of Nintendo fans think this is the best thing they could do. It's Switch 2, boom, you just move on to the next one. Very easy, very distinguished, very demure. It's very nice to know that this is the next system in the Switch line of systems, and you're buying the new one, the more powerful one, the better one. But a lot of people think Nintendo won't do that since they typically have not preferred the numeric formula for their successors. They've gone with strange names, and the Wii U, which we won't talk about. So some people believe this is fake because of the 2. That Nintendo A would not name this the Switch 2, and B would not mark their system with a big 2, but that is a really good way to distinguish. If Nintendo is at all concerned about like, how do we separate these systems that are going to basically do the same thing and have backwards compatibility in your Nintendo account, so in a lot of ways operate similarly, well, we just throw a big 2 on it. Nobody can mistake the one with the big 2 on it as the successor, as the follow-up. Honestly, it might be genius, and frankly, I kind of personally just hope that they do go to Switch 2. I think that makes the most sense. It's not fun. I've seen Super Nintendo Switch gaining steam because Nintendo seems to be emphasizing Super with the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Super Nintendo World. It really is in the, the current Nintendo vernacular. But a Super Nintendo Switch to me does just sound like a different Nintendo Switch. It doesn't really fully give that this is the sequel, this is the successor. Yes, they did NES and SNES, but at that time, so few consoles, so few iterations, so few things like that. You didn't have as much market confusion. You didn't have as much flooding the market. You didn't have as much people like just a bit confused about how things work, given how the iPhone iterates all the time. We've got PS5 Pro. Do you really want people thinking this is just a half-step Switch? I think it's going to be Switch 2. And I'm going to go and say that I think that this factory leak is real because I do believe the Switch 2 will be dropped very soon. The reveal trailer, at least, I think they're going to talk about it hopefully this week, but definitely very soon. And this is all believable, right? Started production, black and white theme, smaller bezel, larger overall body, 2 on the side. Lines up and makes perfect sense to me. Would you be cool with that? Do these initial things about the system sound good enough for you? Because they sound good enough for me. I don't think they need to reinvent the wheel. I did see like this rumor over the weekend that I think was initially quickly deemed, fake, of like, oh, the Switch 2 has 2 screens, and I just don't see Nintendo going with something drastic after they've had so much success with the current thing. The current hybrid system works so well. Why rock the boat so much? Also, just a second screen adds money, adds a lot more difficulties. As we discussed, we talked about a 2-screen system being very difficult for not only price, but also development as well. It causes a lot of issues when you're trying to bring aboard a bunch of third-party games that don't have to deal with 2 screens on their other respective consoles. Anyways, this sounds believable to me. Hopefully, the next time we're talking on Good Morning Mario, it's tomorrow, and they say, hey, there's a new trailer coming soon. It's going to be interesting how Nintendo does this. Do they announce the announcement ahead of time, like check in tomorrow for a new trailer revealing our successor hardware? Do they just drop the trailer? Do they have a live stream presentation? How will Nintendo handle this? It's a much bigger deal, in my opinion, than the Switch 1 reveal, because that was at a position where people were like, what is Nintendo even gonna, are they gonna survive? Are they gonna exist? Nobody liked the Wii U. It was kind of like, hey, just throw it out there and hopefully it sticks. It's this weird idea of a hybrid system. Hopefully people like it. Now there's a ton of anticipation, a ton of curiosity, a ton of dollars on the line, and they really have to nail this. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did go with a more manufactured reveal. And by that I mean like, hey, we're going to be doing this live stream. Tune in to see the new successor tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. But we'll have to see exactly how they decide to do it. Hopefully they just do it. The most important thing is they do it. And if you want them to do it, then you got to believe in this factory leak, because if the factory stuff has already started, then Nintendo is right on the cusp of announcing this, as those are the things that are the hardest to disprove. Like if manufacturing is kicking in, Nintendo is going to reveal it. And I feel like that much we can all agree on. But in the meantime, let me know your take on this first factory leak. How do you feel about the new Mario Kart 8 bundles that we get every year, and the past defeating the present and the future in the Splat 3 Grand Festival? Anyways, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.